I always say that, when you're growing up, oftentimes, friends and family will give you a record or,
Mm.
play you a song that becomes kind of like a light goes on kind of a moment. But there's something to be said about the first record that you bought with your own money because you've saved up, you've worked hard to get whatever it was, and then you made the decision to go to a record store and you paid money that you earned to buy the first record. So I was kind of curious to find out what that was. Do you remember at one point, like, or is there a memory of buying something that you really really loved and cherished?
Well, this is kind of the opposite for most people. Um, I always knew I wanted to play jazz, but it's a very daunting thing. But when I saved up my money and went to the store and bought a record, and I remember this, it was it was "Function to the Junction" by Shorty Long, which is not something that anybody in my house would have sanctioned, but it was my money.
There you go. What did
So
Dad say about that? If I looked at the title and went, "What?"
yeah, I mean, it's not like, I wasn't allowed to have it, but it was my decision and that's what I bought.
All right.
And
Uh,
to this day, I believe that's one of the seminal R&B records of all time.
Still have it?
Oh, do I have it? No. It's kind of obscure now.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I've not heard of it, and
Oh, you should check it out.
I'm
It's great.
absolutely going to. Yeah, I mean, as a DJ and a music fan, I pride myself on knowing a lot of weird, obscure ones. So I'm excited now that there's something that I don't, I hadn't
Yeah,
heard.
if I can find it, I'll send you the link.
Okay.
Um, but I did buy a lot of records as a kid, um, but I didn't buy jazz records. Maybe I was rebelling. I don't know. But I bought a lot of Led Zeppelin, and oh, I loved listening to Led Zeppelin because we always had a good sound system. In my
Of
house, we
course.
always had a stellar sound system, and and I bought a lot of classical. I was heavy into Baroque and heavy into Chopin because I was, studying classical music.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
I would buy those records.
Well, that's wonderful that you've got such a breadth of influence and sound. I mean, in my household upstairs, we've got an old classic 70s stereo with the big wooden speakers, and it sounds great. And my wife and I will, when we're waking up and getting on with our morning on the weekends or something like that, we'll often put on everything from, like these Balearic beach, dance records, from, these just like they just sound like you're on a, you know, Spanish beach or something like that in the morning,
Uh,
as well as, something like a tea or every once in a while I'll bring in the dark side and plop down something that's got some distortion pedals on it, and she'll be like, "It's 10 a.m. Relax." I'm like, "I know."
yeah.
She's like, "All
Well,
right, well, So, but we have, yeah, we like to do that, and just the idea that we have a 5-year-old, so exposing her to all these different things. She likes house music just as much as she calls it her what she calls dance music is like she took ballet classes, and so it's stuff that's really emotive, and she does all these dances around listening to you know
uh,
I'll put on bolero or something like that, and she'll
yeah, okay.
it's
Yeah.
it's adorable.
I
uh,
remember doing that as a kid. I think it's so important. As I said, my dad was a jazz purist, but my mother, everything was happening. Elton John, she got into a country music phase. We were listening to Waylon Jennings, and
yeah,
and I mean, I'm so happy that I was exposed to everything. I really think that's so important because if you're just exposed to one kind of music, I just don't think it's good for your creativity.
I 100% agree with you, and I've literally said this to people, in as a, in a DJ class or just as a musician in general. It's like there's so much out there. I have this sort of pet peeve that I say to people, which is, you know, I can always tell if somebody is really into music or not, because if they come up to me with this, and I would say like, what kind of music are you into? They go, oh, I like everything but country. I always go like, that's probably not a person that's very passionate about music, because it's like a
Hmm.
stock go-to answer that they dismiss country. And quite frankly, there's incredibly great country. Every genre has something to offer. I mean,
Oh
Patsy
yeah.
Cline will kick your butt,
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Johnny Cash. I mean, all the classics. I love that. And then even to the more contemporary stuff, like Wilco is country. Beck is country. I mean, if you think about
Mhm.
the influences there, there's this element that's really, I just feel like it can't be denied. Plus the fact that, it's like a painter that only uses blue. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, it could be
Yeah.
cool, but eventually you're gonna want to, pull from your grab bag and use some different expressions. That's the same, the idea of opening up your mind to listen to a lot of different kinds of music is great.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like to think of, when you're really listening to music, where it comes from. What created this, and what's the point of view. And the more you listen to a particular kind of music, even if you don't like it at first, I think that's the thing about being immersed. If you live with other people and they put on their kind of music, you're kind of forced to listen to it. At least in the old days, before everybody
Yeah.
had earbuds, you learn to like it. You learn to experience different facets of it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I can imagine that, sometimes there have been moments where I've heard music that I didn't think that I would enjoy, and just by, time I have. Or there's even some artists like that I really do love. Like, I think I'm not alone in saying that, the Radiohead is, one of the biggest bands in the world, and I think they're incredible. But a lot of their records, at first listen, I'll be like, I really love this, but I didn't really get the other stuff until a few more listens.
right.
And that seems to be common with a lot of bands where sometimes you need a deep dive.
You
And
do. I think with a lot of things in life, you need to really get in there, you know.
similar.
And it's so easy now, of course, to just switch it,